Hello, and welcome to the Quantum Revelations. So every week I talk about the quantum human and what the ascension energies is opening up for us. And I just want this time to be a moment where we tune into the energies and just sense what's going on in the world and take on board what's good for you and ignore what's not. So every week we do this as a way for you to start thinking about your future and your vision and what you want to achieve. I'm a soul guide, so I'm really interested in getting people onto their best soul path, onto their highest vision of what they could be. And at the moment, that includes being a quantum human and sort of absorbing some of these energy sensing skills and divination techniques into the everyday. I'm particularly interested in reaching people who are perhaps not fully using their intuition yet and want to take it to the next level, or those who have just started their spiritual awakening but have a very strong logical side, and therefore they find it a bit difficult to navigate the quantum realms, which can be a little bit more unstructured and esoteric. And I hope that through sharing what I share every week, that gives you an understanding of things from a different perspective, so that maybe it resonates with you too. So let me just check that I've got everything up and running. So grab yourselves a cup of tea while we're doing this. And today, there it is, everybody's up. So there's comments, I'll be watching for comments on the YouTube live. So I've got that up ready so I can see you guys. And as always, I'm joined by some people on Zoom who join me every week to have a private discussion after the live on the topic. So today I thought we would talk about the Capricorn full moon energies. There's this Capricorn full moon today. And I do esoteric sort of soul work. So for me, it's more about the soul's journey and what Capricorn represents to the soul and the journey from being in the ether down into the human existence and then back up to the ether again. So if that sounds interesting to you, then join me. I'll also be sharing a little bit about the energies this month. So I'll be giving you an update on what energies to expect on your soul's vision this month. So what's coming up there. So welcome everyone. It's been a bit of a turbulent time. It has been feeling very, I think sometimes ascension feels like waves coming in, and other times it feels like it has this solstice really. It's like an earthquake. And sometimes you feel like you're standing on those plates that are separating and your legs are going in different directions. And sometimes it feels like things are still and quiet and you kind of can relax a little and then it starts shaking again. And that's what the energy has been pretty much like for the last couple of weeks. So what I suggest we do to start today's session is to start tapping. So if you kind of get all your fingers together, I'll try and avoid my microphone, but just tap along the collarbone, which is where the higher heart is, because I think that's what's really struggling right now. It's a bit higher than the heart, but if you just sense it and do this while we're talking, then you might find that that gives you some peace today. So how are you all doing? How are we all doing with the energies so far? So just check in with yourself, take a deep breath and check in. So today in the Capricorn full moon, we're at the point of the soul's journey where it's just been into the personality part of its journey and really kind of getting its humanness understood and trying to balance the humanness with the soul kind of desires to bring the two together. By the time we get to Capricorn, the soul is starting to rise up again. And it's through each of these iterations, through these cyclic journeys, through the astrological signs, we notice that we get a little bit more understanding of our humanness, we go back up, we come back down, we get a bit more of our humanness, we go back up, we come back down, and there's this very much flow to the whole process. So at Cancer, we were starting to come into more from the soul into the humanness, and now we're starting to go back the other way again. So yeah, we got a few people saying roller coaster, been heavy, but better today. That's pretty much what a lot of people I've been speaking to has been feeling. So yeah, keep tapping, work on that higher heart chakra by just tapping along the collarbone there, and keep doing that through the session and see how you feel afterwards. You can let me know. So when we get to Capricorn again, there's three archetypes for the Capricorn soul journey. We have the mountain goat, which is kind of like that strong animal that can carry everything on its back and it's determined and it's going to make its way to the top of the mountain. But it's kind of driven off of personal gain and willpower. Then we have the sea goat, who's starting now to notice that it has aspirations a little bit bigger than itself and starting to notice that perhaps there is more to life than just its own personal journey. And I love this because the third archetype is the unicorn. So I've kind of felt like putting a lot of gold on today, like to sort of try and bring in some of that gold energy because it's feeling so dense in the energy so far. So the unicorn is about us finally understanding ourselves as the I am presence, the Christ consciousness, bringing that connection to the divine plan. That sort of like we climb up the mountain, we get access to the divine plan, we feel it with that new human experience, we feel this I am presence. And then we don't carry on and leave the planet and go up into it. We decide that we can see how this divine plan is working through our bodies and is serving humanity, and how we can bring that back down, and we come back down the mountain with this knowledge and start sharing it with humanity to try and help others connect to their higher I am presence. So that could be Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness. It's that feeling divine, which is why I think the gold is very much in at the moment. As you can see, I put some sparkle on today to bring some of that gold energy in, because there's so much heavy energy around at the moment at the same time. So when we become the unicorn, we become the server, but not the server where we do it selflessly like an angel. We serve in a way that serves ourselves too. Because at the end of the day, you know, we all know the saying, put your own oxygen mask on first before you help somebody else. Well, this is the same. We go up and we find our own divinity, and just by radiating and becoming that, we inspire others. It's not that we have to then go out and work hard and lose our own self-care and our own authenticness in order to serve others. We're doing it by just us becoming a good example of what it is to be an embodied I am presence on this planet, this soul and physical body brought together. And this is the heaven on earth template, and the mission really for us as quantum humans is to do this across all industries, across all colors, races. You know, it's that oneness of being a quantum human that crosses all the boundaries, so that we can really connect in to our energy and creating, like I said before, these kind of pillars. Each of us becomes a pillar that connects together to create this network that allows others to sense this vibration. Because like I said, when we become the unicorn, we understand that we are part of the divine plan, that we are channeling it through us energetically, through maybe divine wisdom, through just knowledge. But there's, whether we think we know it or not, we're all acting as this conduits for this energy to bring it down. And sometimes we call it like a lightning rod, but it's more than that. We are consciously bringing this energy down so we can share it with others on the planet. So how does that feel for you? Does that feel that are you ready to become unicorns, I guess? So yeah, a bit heavy. So what do we say? So one of my cards for this week was the I am presence from my unicorn deck. Wow. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what we want. How funny is that? But this is it, isn't it? We've all got pieces of the puzzle we can all find. And that's what I want you guys to do, is share it so that we can see that we're all seeing the same thing. Because sometimes, and especially this month, I think, we can sometimes think about giving up, really, because we're trying really, really hard to keep growing, to keep ascending, to keep that conscious awareness of our divinity. And yet we seem to also be constantly knocked about, beaten down, and feeling like we're fighting to go uphill a little bit. But there is a break in all of this, I feel. It is changing. But I think this month we're going to start perhaps noticing it doesn't feel as good. And I think that not feeling so good is going to make us think that things are broken and all falling apart, hence the earthquake kind of feeling. But in fact, it's all part of that breaking down in order to reconstruct, which again is part of what we learn as Capricorn, is to go through that complete reconstruction from nothing, breaking it all down to its pieces, then building it all back up again, and being comfortable with that process. And I guess, you know, from the dark night of the souls, many of us have experienced that time when we're in pieces is some of the hardest times to get through. And that's why I do what I do on a Monday, is to say, look, you're not alone. There's more of us going through this. And come and join us at least for 30 minutes on Monday, and know you're not on your own going through this. Because even the sort of strongest spiritual people have these moments. It's not like being spiritual removes this from your experience. It just means we learn to use all our tools to handle it better. That's the only difference. So sense into that Capricorn energy and sort of intend that you come out of this mountain goat carrying all this burden, and start allowing that burden to be laid down so that you can step into your unicorn of that I am presence and recognizing your purpose and why you're here. So as you know, as a soul coach, then what I'm really interested in is helping people find their soul's great vision. And to do that is it's not just the 3D version of this. If you watched last week when Marta was sharing her story of where she's come from a 3D kind of pharmacist role right up into the energetic work that she's about to start now, there is this spark, this magic, this piece of the puzzle that perhaps we've all been missing, that we've had as a talent, we've never kind of grasped and used to develop into our lives, to bring us into this new level of our vision. And it's interesting because this month, the cards are kind of saying that, it kind of says that there's opportunities coming, and then it said August. So I kind of, when I read that, I thought, that must mean July's not going to be so good then. It's going to be a bit tough for us all. But it also kind of emphasized that all of the times that we've worked on ourselves and become graceful in managing our lives, it's paying off, even if it doesn't feel like it sometimes. You're building super strong foundations. So when these earthquakes come, this grace is what's going to carry you across and help you float across the shakes and the rumbles of society and the world right now. So yeah, so I've told them on Zoom to put some gold on. So one's going to put a gold dressing gown on, another's putting some more gold jewelry on. Fantastic. I don't actually normally wear gold, but I just felt that we need some of that gold energy today. So part of that Capricorn is realizing our potential and sort of really seeing ourselves, like, it's almost like I'm asking you to be, it's almost like a movie. You know, we're all happy watching movies with magic and all that kind of stuff, and watching and enjoying Harry Potter and all these kind of things. And yet we don't seem to allow that magic into our own lives on an everyday basis. And you know, we're not talking about magic wands and things here. We're talking about the magic of how a plant grows, how a child learns, how we manage and have love and our knowledge and our wisdom and how we grow. You know, there's magic in all of this. And then there's this kind of connection on a deeper level where we really have this ability to really connect with another human being in the physical form that we can't always do in a spiritual form. And this is the kind of magic, you know, it's a blend of the 3D humanness and then the access to the divine, to your I am presence, to that soul wisdom that can guide you. Those two coming together, and that's the magic that we're trying to create. So if we've got the grace that we've been working on, building this grace of balancing ourselves, then the future actually is unplugging from mass consciousness, because as I said, the world is crazy. And if we're still plugged into mass consciousness right now, we're going to feel it's like if we're standing on the one bit of land that's safe right now, and we're finding that graceful plot of land, do you want to stay there, or do you want to go and jump with all the other people that are screaming and shouting everywhere else? That's the mass consciousness reaction right now. And it's about getting more people to come onto the stable ground rather than us tuning in and joining the others that are all in panic right now. And it's quite interesting because as well as this kind of earthquake kind of theme, the other theme is a volcano. So it kind of shows this, the volcano is actually representing not just the eruption, but it's also this new birthing process, this potential that's bubbling under the surface, causing the earth to shake so it can explode up and release itself, basically. So I know from a few people I've spoken this week, that's also been their physical experience as well. They're just feeling this disharmony with themselves. They're feeling all these emotions coming up, and it's all feeling quite erratic. But it's stuff that needs to come up, to release, to make space for the I am presence to come back in. It's all part of that process. So how's that sounding to you guys? So yeah, definitely stay on the Peace Island, more magic. On YouTube, yeah, exactly what I'm being, a unicorn. Break down before the breakthrough. Yeah, that's definitely going to be the theme this month, I think. And Judy saying that she was speaking about this earlier today with an old friend and telling her she's not alone, and now reinforcing it, not to align with the tough stuff. Yeah, that's the message we all can share with everyone. You know, if that's what we as quantum humans, that's the message we all need to share with as many people as we can meet and bump into right now. That's the quantum human message for this month, I guess. So as I said, it showed, I'm just looking at my cards over here. So it showed it actually showed a carrot. I didn't think of a carrot as being opportunity, but apparently it represents opportunity. And August being when that opportunity comes into fruition. But also it talks about how do we get through this peace island? How do we define that peace island? And that peace island is the grounding. This is quite interesting for me. Grounding's always been an interesting thing. I've never been good at this. I've always been half out of my body, ready to leave, until I started working with these 4 Kundalini dragons that are representing primordial energy of the earth, for earth, water, wind, and fire. And since I've been working with them, I'm just feeling more connected to the planet. It's not that same put your anchors down, grasp onto something and hold on to it like we're going to float away and that we're having to kind of like put clamps in. This is more of a blended kind of anchoring of my energy, blending in with that energy in the earth and understanding it's there supporting me and connecting to it and allowing the primordial soup energy and the knowledge and the wisdom of the humanness, the cells, the evolution of humanity to come up those roots into my body. And I did a meditation with my membership where I took them back to the primordial soup, and we all said it left us feeling quite buzzing and quite electric, but also very here in the now. Because the reason we need to put these roots down is to make that decision. Are we going to stay here through good and bad? Are we willing to stay and be here in the now? And I liked what this card had to say. So it said, a delicious question. Spend this day living fully in your reply, even if you're unable to let go of yesterday entirely. When you give yesterday more power than today, does it enhance the here and now? And that's the question. So saying now is now, are you going to be here or not? So it's kind of, for me, that's that kind of Capricorn energy saying, look, you know, you can go up to the top of the mountain, but are you going to come back down and be here and use what you've learned and serve humanity with it? And that's kind of the question that we're kind of going to be asking ourselves this month, I think. And the advice for this month is very much, as I've been saying, believe in magic. So it's the true magic is abounding in my life. So again, I think that's the kind of the invisible that's being masked by all the mayhem right now, is that magic is still there. It's waiting to come up. And as I said, the potential is going to come up as this kind of volcanic release. Now, we've been through many of these jumps over the last few years, and each time I think we must be getting to the other side by now. And then something else bubbles up and it kind of brings more energy up again. So it's quite difficult to work out exactly when this is going to stabilize. I know some say it's going to be like 2024, sometimes 2030, but it doesn't really matter. You know, all we can do is the now. All we can do is focus on what we're here to do and just keep changing our vibration to align with our bigger purpose and our bigger vision for what we're here as quantum humans to deliver. And mastering our skills, like holding on to our ability to become an alchemist of energy. You know, this mass consciousness now is really unstable. So what can we all do? How can we get together and change that vibration? Like I said, getting onto that peace island. If we all gather together, anchored our roots down into the earth, pulled up that primordial information, the ascension particle for evolution, all of these things helps the body anchor more into its place on earth and its strength. So then we can bring in more of the magic and bring in more of the higher dimensional frequencies. And it's starting to play with that in such a way that other people can see it. Now, I know many of us are a bit shy. Like I hated being on video just 2 years ago. And coming up here and sort of talking is now what we all have to do, because that's the only way we're going to share with others. And that's a way of serving, you know, just telling your friends, telling your family, sharing who you are, sharing how you're managing things. You probably have tools that are very subtle and soft, but they get you through. And other people don't always have those tools, and we don't realize that. The more we communicate, then obviously the stronger we're going to feel. So what have we got here? Marriage with our life in the now. Yeah. It is about us choosing to decide. Today is the day we are really going to emphasize, you know, our vision and share who we are. And I kind of saw it as this precious cargo. I suppose that's what the magic hat is. Like, we've been given this cargo of soul wisdom, each of us, and this part of the divine plan that is us. And yeah, okay, it might be a bit weird and a bit quirky, and it might make us feel a little bit, it wasn't rejected. The word that came up this week was a little bit like rejected, but it's not rejected, because I'm not sure what the opposite of fitting in is, because rejected sounds like the opposite of fitting in, but it is the opposite of fitting in. we have to learn to be comfortable with not fitting in if we're going to do the work we're meant to do as quantum humans. And the problem is when we feel that feeling as a human, it kind of activates us on a primal level of fear, because we were kind of, as cave people, wanting to be in clans that kept us safe. And now we're being asked to really show our strangeness and present ourselves in a way that we could be rejected by society, our work, our family, and kind of pushed away a little. But what it also showed me was that if you really want to, eccentric, Angela's saying eccentric is a good word. But the thing is, if you really want the divine plan to work, your eccentricities, your weirdness, your quirkiness, your out of the box thinking is your definition of who you are. And as a jigsaw piece, all those unusual shapes that make you up fits in one place in the divine plan. Now, if you're going to be cutting off your corners and cutting off some of that shape, you're not going to fit in that space anymore. And you're technically breaking the divine plan by doing that. So it's kind of like the more authentic we get and the more in our power we get, the more we find our place and the more we get seen and the more we get recognized. And it's kind of counterintuitive to a certain degree, because we think the more we fit in, the more we'll be accepted. But the message we got for last month when I was working with the membership was the opposite. We need to go the opposite way to start showing our rough edges and our corners so that we can fit in a different way. And that's what's going to encourage us to step up. So I don't know if you guys have got any tools you want to share for how to handle this kind of earthquake, potential volcano kind of experience that we're all having right now. I'd like to see what everyone's sharing. That'd be cool. 144,000 of us. Yep. I'd like to think it was less than that, but all we could keep doing is keep sharing and get more quantum humans on board. Because I know one of the aspects of the quantum human for me is this ability to be quite logical and reasonable and be able to take action. So it's taking that quantum energy, transmuting it into the physical, translating it into the physical, so we can actually build on the planet as well. Because, there's lots of people who are readers of this energy that can bring the energy and tell you about it. But we need to be able to take it that extra few steps and birth it through our bodies and start building stuff. And that can be quite scary for us to do that. But if we all get together, maybe we can all support each other. Braving the wilderness alone, but together as way shoulders. Way showers, that's interesting. Way showers, yes. That's what we'd like. So what tools have we got? Anybody want to share what tools they have so we can see what we can share? Because one of the tools I was going to share was the dragon energy that I've been working with. While you guys are thinking about your favorite tool, let's see if I can show you the dragon one. So keep tapping the higher thymus area across the collarbone. That will help you kind of help integrate some of the new energies that are coming into your human body. I kind of feel that we're working on purity and the codes of immortality and DNA and cells and time bending recently. That's kind of some of the stuff we've been exploring in the membership. And I think did I mention on here, well, the book's here actually, I found this really cool book that says time is DNA. So I feel like that's really a key to what's going on right now. Something is shifting in our DNA regarding what time means, how time works, how our bodies work and grow. So all of this is kind of new, and I'm not 100% sure how it's all unfolding. I'm just getting little bits at a time as I'm putting the pieces together. So I just keep sharing with you all so you get a feeling, so you can find your way through it as well. So Jenny said that using flower energies, whichever is needed to show. So when she says flower energy, she's actually channeling her own flower awareness. So she gets images of flowers that helps her integrate different aspects. So that's cool. Crystals, selenite, labradorite, black tourmaline. Yeah, some crystals going on here. Charles is asking, grace will carry us across. Can you expand on grace a little? So grace is that feeling of, isn't it kind of like that, the story, I think the best story is when you have that Buddhist story where the guy says, oh, my son has broken his leg, and everyone says, oh, I'm really sorry, that's awful that he's broken his leg. And the next day the army come and say, well, we can't take your son to war because he's broken his leg. And everybody says, oh my God, that's so amazing. How lucky you are that he's broken his leg. You know, is that how we perceive a situation can be reframed. And the old man through all of this just says, we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. And that's the kind of the grace, I guess, of seeing the beauty in the now, being able to stay in the now, being present through the good and the bad. You know, we're not here to be love and light necessarily. We have to sometimes stand when there's darkness and shadow and hold that space for others. And that's all part of the grace, I guess. You know, there's so many aspects to it, but if that's kind of triggered any ideas of what grace means to you, then again, I'd love to hear your messages. So we've got some more tools, symbols and sigils. What else we got? Yeah. So let's just do, we got 5 minutes left. So let's just bring in the energy for the 4 dragons and see what you feel for this. Pulling cards. Yeah, pulling cards is my saving grace for sure. When I'm really confused and I can't get a sense of the energy, my cards are my savior. They are my language translator. And yes, it's good because now as I'm learning the language more, it's easier. But yeah, I've got quite a lot of cards of different languages and different, not like our languages, but different styles of language for the spiritual esoteric languages, so that I can understand. Because I think sometimes there is that separateness between the I am present and how it speaks and how we speak as humans. And that translation, like I say, is what I specialize in that divine intelligence and helping others to like, I'm not telling people things that they don't already know themselves. I'm just giving words to the feelings they haven't been able to express. And that's what I do with the translations that I sense. But yeah, cards are a good one. Oh yeah, and Angela agrees, cards are good too. So if we tune in at the moment and just get a sense into your breathing, kind of just notice where in your body your breathing is kind of expanding. Is it in your chest? Is it in your stomach? Just bring yourself into your body right now. And just put your feet down on the floor. If you can reach the floor, put your feet down flat on the floor. And I just want you to imagine that these roots are growing out from your feet, but these roots are not going to be this sort of anchoring in. I want you to see them almost fluid and moving and kind of flowing. And it's almost like if your body was to rock from side to side, these roots would kind of counterbalance you to keep your steadiness as they move. And we send one down, and there's a dragon there to meet you, the earth dragon. And he's going to show you where in the earth you can tap into all the nutrients that your human body needs to evolve, to become stable, to soothe your nervous system, to bring you into a neutral place in your body so your body feels comfortable on the planet. And we just see those roots kind of flowing out through the earth, connecting to all of the nutrients that your body needs on a very kind of particle level, a subatomic level of collecting information from the earth. And it's almost like all these building blocks are coming, like, you know, we were made from dust. That's the kind of aspects that we can tap into on the earth level when we put the earth root out and really connect to that, the origins of our body. And next we're going to send out a root for the water. And the waters have been coming up and showing us that there's this, it's like the water is the DNA of the planet. It has the coding of creation embedded in it. And in some of these freshwater lakes deep within the ocean where you have the glacial melt, it has some of the sort of most complex codes of creation. Sometimes it's in the bottom of glaciers, but imagine one of your roots now is going out and seeking out that and collecting up all of that information about how humanity or how even life is created on that level. And let that come up the root up into your body as well. And there's a dragon to guide you as well. There's a water dragon that will take you and show you where to go. I often feel that the earth energy kind of goes into all of my body, into my muscles and into my body, whereas the water I usually find goes into my blood. But again, each person might notice it goes into a different part of their body. Next, we send out the root to look for the air. And for the air, this is the oxygen subatomic particle that we noticed was coming out of the planet back last November. I've been calling it the ascension particle. I don't know what else to call it, but it's almost this, it's another particle of sorts that is allowing our bodies to evolve into the quantum human. It's going to awaken and unlock parts of our DNA and our bodies to allow us to expand on a human level, to allow more of our multidimensional soul to return. So we've got that kind of primordial information coming up, and then this knowledge to allow us to hold more of our soul. So just let that root go out, let the wind dragon take you and show you where your particular corner of the world is that you need to tap into that energy. And again, I breathe that one in. I can imagine it breathing in through my lungs and then going through the walls of my lungs and again back into the blood. And the final one then is the fire. So again, sending that root out, down through your feet, into the ground, searching out the fire. I usually find this is at the center of the earth. This is our battery pack, our desire, it kind of comes as two parts. There's a dragon that takes you there, but it comes back as a phoenix, that inner drive to who you are, what you're here to do. It's that thing that helps you get over these difficult times of these earthquakes, helps you stand strong when you're about to have an eruption of energy coming out that needs to be transmuted. And we bring that energy up into a ball below your belly button in front of your spine that I think it's called the Tantien, if I'm pronouncing it right. It's where martial artists use to source their power from when they're fighting, because they don't fight as such, they just use energy to give off the energy to protect themselves. And it goes into there, and it's kind of like having your batteries charged, like you've just plugged into your phone to be charged. It's that kind of energy that comes up. And just allow that up into your body and just sense that anchoring in, that sort of warmth in your lower abdomen. And then finally, I invite all 4 strands just to weave their way around your spine all the way up into your head as that kind of Kundalini energy rising would be. And just notice where in your body you accept or you resist that energy. And then just bring your attention back now and let me know how you're feeling now. So whether you're watching this now or if this is a replay, I still will like to hear what you say, and I'll come check the comments. So I'd actually like to do this with my Dancing with Energy classes, where we do movement to go with us, which just anchors that feeling in even more. So it's one of my favorite ones to do. It really brings us down and present into our body and the power of the body, and reminds us that we're not some human feeble being trying to connect to our spirit, because our spirit's so much stronger. It's this bringing the two together. Yeah, Marta has said, beautiful mini Dancing with Energy. If you've done my classes, you might have been dancing as you were doing that, knowing the experience. But yeah, we're finding it's very powerful. And once this dragon energy starts activating, that to me is magic. When I feel them dancing around me, then that's when the magic really starts. You felt it more than usual. I wonder if that's because with the Capricorn, we're going up the mountain. So that dragon energy, because it is what came up as we needed that. They said boundaries, earth boundaries, but that's what I feel are our earth boundaries, about those dragon energies connecting and then really sensing into it. But it also could be where you are, because you're in Sardinia right now. So if you've got a particular potent hotspot there, you might be drawing from that as well. So if you like that, then I only do my Dancing with Energies on solstices and equinoxes at the moment, but keep an eye out on my page, White Star Soul Guidance, on Facebook and YouTube, Facebook and Instagram. And of course, on here, I do try and post. I try to remember now I can post in the community here as well. And if you fancy, because some of these are online, it's much easier then to connect with more people around the world when it's online than a live event. And I know some people might think it doesn't feel the same, but it does, because the whole point, in fact, is better, because the whole point is you get to create your own energy and learn to do this for yourself. You're not relying on being in a space where somebody else is holding that energy for you, which makes you feel fantastic while you're there, but then you leave and then you're back to square one. You know, this is about, my Dancing with Energy classes are a healing modality that is teaching you how to manage and become the alchemist of your own energy and your own vision and the frequency that you need to hold for your vision. So it's kind of like giving you the power back, I guess. So Angela's saying, actually got Arizona for the air dragon, Bermuda for the water dragon, California for the earth, and Peru, wow, and for the fire dragon in Peru. Fantastic. Well, work with them. If that's who's come to you, then they want to know, they want you to know that they're there and that they're there to serve you in some way. So do some research and see what they represent to you. That's fantastic. So hopefully that gives you an idea of one little technique. So this is the kind of stuff, like I said, so I have Dancing with Energy classes where we do this with movement and music. We also have my membership where we spend, like tomorrow we'll be doing the full moon circle. We'll be deeper into the Cancer, I keep saying Cancer, Capricorn experience, because Cancer is where we come in and Capricorn is where we go out. But the Capricorn experience will go deeper into that tomorrow. We will do an activation. We will also do breakout rooms where I pose questioning is my great thing. I ask super deep questions and get your consciousness expanding and shifting through that. So we all go into breakout rooms where we make friends, we ask these deep questions and we have these deep conversations. I like this kind of soiree kind of feeling in Zoom. It's a nice way to connect and expand our consciousness as a group. Then on Thursday, I do the first monthly initiation for the energy this month. So we try to get ahead of our time. Like we look at what the energy is coming up that month, and then we do an activation to balance ourselves ready for it. At the end of the month, then we look at what we've done. So we're 2 weeks, so 2 weeks later, we look at what's happened. And if there's any fixes we need, then we do another activation to balance that. And we've been doing that now since Christmas with a small group. I've just been trialing this because I'm trying to take what I do in my one-to-ones and make it into a group program and a group mentorship to help us move forward. But one of the things that's definitely coming up right now is a bit like this Capricorn rising to the top, finding your place in the divine plan and bringing it back down. To me, that represents you discovering your soul's great vision and then learning to birth it and to start serving humanity with it and making money from it. Because our creative energy, that's sort of what we've just connected to the dragons, is bringing us into our body to tap into our sensual life force energy, our Shakti, our Chi. It's that Kundalini, that all that is life force energy. And if we've got that anchored into our bodies, it makes us really powerful humans. Bring in that higher wisdom of our soul, and there you have your ingredients, all the ingredients you need to become a quantum human. So thank you guys. If anybody else has got anything to share, let me know. But I'll be back again next Monday. If you want to join me for any of my classes, then do get in touch and I can send you details. And if you've seen, or if you haven't seen all my previous videos, then please do watch them because they kind of lead into each other and lead up to where we are today. And last week, Marta was very kind to come on and show her journey through some of my courses and what she'd done, so you could see how she'd progressed and give you an idea of the kind of work I do, because it feels quite cutting edge sometimes, and it's quite hard to explain to people what they're about to experience, but it's very experiential. I feel like us quantum humans are not here to sell stuff. We're here to take people on experiences with us and to really help us share the amazing unique frequency that we are with others to expand them too. And we can all do that in our own unique way. So thank you. I'm just going to shoot off now and speak to those on Zoom. If anybody wants to join me on Zoom, then again, just message me and I'll send you the link, and you can always join me after the live on a Monday. So thank you, Angela. Oh, thank you. So glad I caught you on this live. Cool. Well, every Monday I'm here on the 8 o'clock. And yes, each time is a little different, but it's always relevant and always a revelation, I guess. So thank you. I'm Trudy and I'm White Star Soul Guidance.